So thank you everyone for joining this session. It's about the open source solution that actually works. So about me, my name is Usman Ahmad and I work for Grafana Labs as a staff developer advocate, and basically I work with the Grafana open source community on our GitHub community and Slack channels, try to help them solve issues or at least report bugs or work on the documentation, and also create technical content by videos, blog posts, and again, documentation is the most important part or the heart of making open source successful. And in my previous role, basically, I always work with the Linux. I started back in when Fedora 7 was launched. So yeah, back in the days, I started using Linux. I love it, and I still use Linux for almost everything I ever have. And working also in the tech support area, I started working for Linux support, then to the cloud support, then joined Grafana, and now working with the dev team. And beside work, I'm very excited to be here. This is my first time to come to Linux Foundation conferences, the Open Source Summit, all the way from Germany. I live in Nuremberg, and when I have some free time, I also like to write content and create open source tutorials, so that anyone who is starting their journey with Linux and open source, or who might be someone who is professional but interested or curious to know what's going on, so create content for them. And you can find more about me if you scan this QR code or just visit my LinkedIn profile. So today I have a nice story to share with sort of true events. So this is a picture of airport, and I think every one of us had once in a year, or maybe some frequently travel around the different places, and no matter how much we are prepared, there is always this uncertainty. And this is exactly in this picture is like people are checking if they have on the right time, on the right gate, or maybe the flight is canceled, and so on. Some people are lucky if they have everything they need and it works fine. And this is not different what we work as tech, right? In the tech world, similar things happen. So there is a friction like what kind of tools to be used, or maybe between departments, there might be silos. Performance is everything. Performance is not just of the software or the product, but also amongst your teammates, how they are performing well, are you hitting the deadlines or not, and so on. Then there is also one thing is clear visuals. Do you have clarity or clear visuals, what you are doing? Do you have a roadmap? Do you have clear data or metrics or business metrics which you want to see and check? And last but not least, this is my favorite, is the permission. Now I have been in tech, and there are times like I can deliver more, but there is certain policies that I do not have enough permission, and I have those permissions. I could actually help the developers or the engineers to troubleshoot the issues. So yeah, this is pretty much what we have every day. And I start with this as a sample application, which is a Java-based application, and keeping it right now very simple, that there is a server where your Java application is running, and you as a user using it via your devices, right? And this is the application which I will be demoing today. So it's called Open Exchange. It's actually a mail server or mail client application, but it has its own server. And it has a lot of components. You can see from here that it has like backend, and there's a front end, there's administration part, and so on. For example, on backend there's MySQL. On front end, there is the Apache is running, which provide the front end for the users, and so on. So there is a lot of going on, right? And when it comes to monitoring, the favorite color for us is the green. Green is not your enemy. We all love it, right? And we were happy if everything goes fine, we can go our home quickly, do our stuff, and relax. But let me show you a demo how we can monitor the basic metrics and see some options. So probably, how many of you are using Grafana? Maybe raise your hands. Okay, quite a lot. So Grafana, we will come to that, what Grafana can do. But for this demo, let me show you. So I'm running Grafana in a Docker and running just as simple. This is my Grafana Docker, and there is a tool Pyroscope, which we will talk a bit later. And you can see it's very basic, nothing fancy, just defining the ports. And I have Prometheus up and running on the machine itself. And if I go into the Grafana now, so normally what you do is that you click on Explore, you find the data source, which is right now Prometheus, and maybe you are interested to get disk usage, maybe memory. Okay, yeah, so for example, let's see if there is some data. Okay, there is some data. And after that, you create a dashboard, do other stuff, label it, and so on. So that is the traditional monitoring that we are used to, which we know. But this is not the best way to do or monitor your case. So yeah, we just had the demo. So if you using this kind of approach, you probably say, okay, this is fine, I'm very happy, life is good. But later on, as your application grows or you need more data, this devil appear and it will bite you, and you will be in a world of pain, right? And this is my question, like how you are monitoring or observing your applications today. So basically now we live in a world like Docker containers or Kubernetes. So creating upscaling or creating new containers is not a problem. You can upscale, create machines and so on. But if one fails, you say, okay, no problem, I can create more, right? And this works, this is not a problem. But what happens that everything is started to fall apart. Those new machines or new nodes or new clusters are on fire or getting broken. Then you ask your question, why this is happening? Are we missing something? Things starting to fall bad or falling apart, and your customers might be angry, or your leadership or your manager might be not very happy, and you started to in a world of pain, and you finally awake and say, okay, how to deal with this situation, right? So it could be something like this. I mean, panda, they are very harmless, they are very cute, but they also can get angry if things go wrong, not in their way. So what is the solution? So let's start first with the fundamentals of observability, right? So many people talk about it's a tool, it do this, it do that. No, it's basically a journey which helps you to create a right product for your department, for your company, for your application, for your business. And in this journey, you basically start with something to troubleshoot before the users can tell you, like, or create a ticket that this happens, please fix it. So you identify the problem, you fix it, and then you finally do a RCA, root cause analysis, to identify why this problem happened, and do a post-mortem call with your engineers, with your operations team, with your support team. And you do this as a cycle. It's a continuous cycle which helps you to create better product, right? And the three main pillars of observability are logs. I think everyone in the room probably know like what logs are. If you can check the errors, you can check the information in a log file, and they are very helpful. That's the first line of defense to identify what went wrong or why it went wrong. Then there's metrics. Also, metrics give you like how much CPU is using, how much memory or disk space is utilized, and so on. And it also gives you some right information. And the last is traces. So traces is actually an advanced version of logs. So it tells you, okay, when this problem happened, when the CPU was high and the error was this. So what was happening in the system? Maybe some system calls are taking delay or not responding. They maybe hanged up or become zombie, and so on. So traces do help you in identify why it went wrong. But traces is actually not enough. We now living in a world where we are producing a lot of solutions, and we need more data, more information. So the new fourth pillar or new pillar of observability nowadays, which is getting very common, is the profiles. So profiles is basically now, for example, you have this Java code, you write a custom plugin for your customer, right? And it works, but suddenly it is very slow in performance. So how to see why this is responding so slow? So their profiles can help you because it identify, okay, when this function is called, maybe it's in a loop going forever, or it takes time to respond to the other function, and this is where profiles can help you. So now we understand the whole scenario. The question is like, what is the solution which works for all of this? What is the complete observability stack? And this is where Grafana comes into play. So Grafana is an open source it's an OSS tool, so it works on all platforms, and it supports various visualization formats. Like time series is very popular, but you can do bar charts, table, and so on. And all it needs is to connect to a source of data. So it does not need its own configuration or something. You just point it to the data and start visualizing it. So why Grafana? I mean, that's a very good question. Why will use Grafana? There are many tools available. So this is the complete observability components which are totally open source, and let's try to understand it. So this is the main UI which you see a lot to visualize the data, and this is our big tent data sources which we provide for open source solution like GitHub, MySQL, and so on. And you may have this in your environment, and on your environment you might be using like Prometheus, OpenTelemetry, and other tools as well. And now with that we have this composable open source stack. So it's called LGTM. P for Spiroscope, and this L for Loki, G is for Grafana, T is for Tempo, and M is for Mimir. And you can get all this data in a single place. But there is more actually. So we have other tools as well in our stack. So basically, if you want to do performance testing, we have a tool called K6, which can do both load testing and browser testing. For front-end application observability, we have Faro. For infrastructure, we provide tools for both Kubernetes and cloud environments, and there is also a complete stack for the alerting management. And now you understand, so this is what we just talked about, the 4 pillars of observability. So once you correlate them, you can get all this data together, and you can start debugging your application efficiently. So this is what we're gonna do. So this is my Java app, and I'm collecting logs via Loki, traces via Tempo, and profiles with Pyroscope, and metrics with Prometheus. Okay. So again, I'm repeating this slide because we saw it earlier, and the problem will occur, but how we solve these problems. So we introduce a new feature. I name it as easier LGTMP stack, and basically this is the new feature which we have announced in the Grafana 12 last month in Seattle. It's called the drill down app. So basically you get all the logs, metrics, traces, and profile data in a single place without doing any hard work. So as a developer, as an engineer, you don't want to spend your time creating or memorizing PromQL or understanding the logQL or how the traces work. You want the data because you have this hard deadline to fix or check the problem and provide the solution. And we will demo it. So I'm using this stack, LGTMP stack, which is available on this GitHub repo. You may want to take a picture of this slide if you want. And we will see in the live demo like what kind of new features it has. And we will view how all this works in a queryless way. I will not write any query, and I will show you how it works. So I will shut down the test container right now and also stop Prometheus. Okay, and here I have this LGTM stack or code, which I use from the link. And once I run it, it will start the application. And just to give you more visibility, so this is how it looks like. So this Docker LGTMP stack is using basically OpenTelemetry collector, and then collecting all these matrices, and you can then view it in Grafana. And in Grafana, this is something it will look like. Let me. Yeah, I want to also show how this code integration works in the Java part. So basically, so this is the OpenExchange, the mail server application, and this is the configuration file. And here at the very end, I define this Java ops others parameter. And basically here I'm defining the OpenTelemetry Java agent, so that it collect all the metrics and ship it to the server where we can view. And basically we can view it in Grafana. And now let's take a look at this drill down application. So if I click here, and if I click on metrics, I can start already seeing some data. And basically, you can filter it what kind of information you need. You can use this search icon. So if you are interested in HTTP, you can get all these dashboard here, and you can simply select it and create a dashboard for it. So this is for the metrics part. Now, if I go in logs, I don't need to memorize any logql. All the logs are available here, right? And for example, if I'm interested, I can click on show logs, and it should be here. Okay. Yeah, this is actually a very new feature. Maybe I forgot something, how to share it. Yeah. Okay. I will come back to it if I have some time. I can show how you can do it too. Then same for traces. So you can see all the traces. You don't need to memorize like tempo QL for traces. You can get all the data if you are interested. You can view the traces here and see like what's going on. You can see all the spans here. And last but not least is also for the profiles. So you can get all the profile data for your application. You can check the CPU process, memory, and so on. And with Pyroscope, you can also do this flame grafting. So basically, if you have your code, which you want to see or analyze, okay, where it might be getting blocked or not performing well, you can see its all execution here in this flame graph. Okay. So that's for the metrics part, logs, traces, and the profile data. But there is one part which is very vital, and that's the database part. So normally databases are something you don't want to touch, or you might get into the same permission thing that you can't use, for example, Prometheus to collect some data metrics and so on. Well, we do have a solution, and we have this big test tent data sources, not test, and we have a MySQL data source plugin. So basically, if I go in my dashboard, I can see the data from the Java application. So these are the user ID, and this is the context ID. Then we have the email address, and and getting all the URL from the IMAP server. So basically, the idea here is that you have multiple solutions which are totally open source. You can choose what you want based on your needs and what permissions you have in your organization. You don't need to really rely everything on Prometheus. You can use MySQL. If you have something you want to use, like for example, getting metrics of GitHub, you can use the open source GitHub data source plugin as well. So without alerting, it's very incomplete, because you have all these metrics, but these might be looks noise to you, which is very normal to say, because you want to see metrics when they are needed. You don't want to wake up and see, oh, I have so many cool dashboards, so just keep looking good. into it. So Grafana do provide solution for this as well, and we have alerting integrated. And we have worked a lot in the alerting area, basically. We have improved the notification. We have integrated many policy notification channels. For example, you can get alerts not just via email, via webhooks, Slack, and so on. And also, this is important to share because notification policies is something which you definitely need in your organization. So you have the root, right? And then you have different teams. One team is for security, one is for front end or back end, and one is for admin. And you want to distribute your alert so that the alert goes to the right team. And you can create these policies inside Grafana. So it's not very difficult to do that. And if I have time, so yeah, so basically here is the alerting component integrated in Grafana, and you can create the alert rule. I have created one for demo purpose. So basically, if we view the rule, for example, this is just very random. So you define some sort of like query or what you want to alert, and define a threshold that if your value is above that threshold, yeah, I need to click on edit. So yeah, is it above 0, then it will fire. And then you can define like to which folder or what kind of labels you wanted. You can add labels as well. And also on the interval time when you want to get this alert. And at the end, you define a contact point. So right now, it's by default email, but you can define your old contact point, whatever you like, maybe Slack, Telegram, or Microsoft Teams. There are many options. And you can also define some more description. Also runbook, because I know from the support perspective that runbooks are very vital, because you get an alert, now what next, to which team this should be notified, to which technical manager it should be triggered so that action could be taken. So you can define all these summary or description or runbooks as well. So basically they are, in a short, they are like annotations as well. So you can do this in Grafana. And I want to show one, this is not in the slides, but this is a very new feature in Grafana. And because now I have a little bit time. So we always have this request from the users like, hey, Grafana is great, it's open source, we love it. But the one thing which we really have hard time is to have dashboard in a right place, like dashboard as code or Git-based dashboard. So we finally introduced this feature, which is still very experimental, but you will get this in the one of the next minor release of Grafana. So basically, what we have here is that I have two dashboards here which are available on my GitHub repo, and it's in the dashboard folder, and I have actually saved there, and I can import, export it. So if I go here in my folder, dashboard folder or dashboard component, I can see this dashboard. And let me just like create an edit, and maybe just create a duplicate, right? And save it. And it says push to main. So I push it, right? And now I just wait for a moment. And yeah, here you see like there's a recent change in the dashboard, and I can compare and make a pull request, approve. Yeah, create pull request. And yeah, merge it, confirm. And now this dashboard will exist here. And this is something very new and very exciting. So once this is get officially released, we will love to see you guys using. So yeah, it is still available. You just need to make a feature, enable a feature flag. So I think the feature flag is, yeah, this one. So once you enable it, you can access this feature as well. So yeah, this is pretty much from my side, and I will just do the final wrap up. So the key takeaways. So Grafana is totally open source, and it helps users in a single stack to provide all the solutions. And you don't need to need any additional layer of software that for logs you have to rely on some other thing, for traces something else. You may use some other open source solution. I mean, you don't need to use like Tempo. You can use some other which are available, but Grafana provides everything in a single place. And yeah. The second is the built-in integration features. So you see the drill down apps. So this is now built-in and publicly available. It's available everywhere. And we are improving it. So we want for you as users to have minimum time of creating, writing configuration, or creating dashboard, memorizing everything. We want it all in a single place and integrated as a built-in feature. And definitely wide support from the community. Grafana has a big support from the open source community. We have like our own community, but there is a big community on the CNCF landscape as well, who are using Grafana with many CNCF projects to monitor and visualize and even get observability. So yeah. If you want to join or be part of this community, I think these are the best resources. So you can view our GitHub repository to maybe report an issue, feature request, and so on. And also for learning, I will definitely suggest to join our community forum. We have Grafana champions there and engineers who can help you with any questions on Grafana. And also the Slack as well, where we are really improving our interaction and providing latest up-to-date news via announcement. You can scan this QR code if you want to get all the details which I have used in the slides. And yeah.